Vince Carter turns 42 years old on January 26. He is the definition of a veteran, a man who has changed his game so much from his younger days in order to stay in the NBA. Carter has played for 8 teams during his career, but many remember him primarily as a member of the Toronto Raptors. Carter played it the first 6.5 seasons of his career in Canada, and he was one of the defining players of a young generation entering the league at the end of the 1990s. Carter left Toronto after a tumultuous final run that saw him benched at times, butting heads with Raptors management and coaching. Fans in Toronto have come to re-embrace Carter in the years since his departure, and many seemed to hold a soft spot for him. To that end, Raptors fans at the Air Canada Centre gave Carter a standing ovation on Tuesday night in what could have been his final game in the Great White North. Via Twitter, Carter is only under contract with the Atlanta Hawks for this season. After that, his future is up in the air. He is still a relevant contributor in bench minutes, but the question will be whether Carter wants to return to an NBA floor to play through another season in his 40s. Carter told reporters before the game against the Raptors that he'd like to return, but that could change in the months between now and season's end. The original, Space Jam, was not a good movie. For my birthday a couple of years ago, I was gifted a DVD edition of the classic 1996 live-action film featuring Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes. After watching the film for the first time in a couple decades, it played out as most kids' programming does: hard to follow, jumpy, with logic gaps wider than the chasms Roadrunner tricks Wile E. Coyote into plunging over. But nostalgia is a powerful emotion, and pre-production on Space Jam 2 with Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James is underway. The second film will be directed by Terrence Nance and produced by Black Panther producer Ryan Coogler, both of whom naturally have high hopes for the project. In fact, Nance is so confident about it that he issued a pretty big statement while speaking to Vice. Via Vice, "Pretty sure it's going to disrupt everything," he told me in the fall of last year. "I'm excited about what that movie can be." Nance's response was a wider reaction to a question about Space Jam 2, challenging the idea of traditional masculinity. What that means in Nance's eyes could certainly be interesting, especially given the gap of time between the two movies. "I don't have any doubts about the second film being better than the 1996 original strictly as a piece of cinema. I don't think LeBron's going to be able to beat out MJ in terms of pure nostalgia, and the box office totals might be close." The original recorded somewhere around $230 million in ticket sales. Never underestimate us millennials and our deep desire to spend money on things like movies as a means to salve our deeper wounds. That includes harkening back to the mid-90s when global terrorism wasn't at the forefront, guys from Home Alone weren't running for president, and student loan debt was all but a distant fever dream. Production on Space Jam 2 is set to start this summer. Every day in the NBA there is a lot to unpack, so every weekday morning throughout the season we will give you the 3 things you need to know from the last 24 hours in the NBA. 1. Ryan Saunders gets the win. 4. Flip is 1-0 as Timberwolves coach after victory over Thunder. Minnesota needed that. After the firing of Tom Thibodeau as coach and GM, the Timberwolves came out in their first game under coach Ryan Saunders, the son of legendary coach Flip Saunders, and Ryan wore a flip pin on his lapel through the game, and played like the Timberwolves fans had hoped they would see all season. Andrew Wiggins stepped up with a difference-making, not just stat-stuffing, 40 points and 10 rebounds. He took over the offense with Karl-Anthony Towns battling foul trouble. Wiggins was aggressive, hit his free throws, and played one of those all-too-rare games from him where he looks like a max player. After the win, the Timberwolves celebrated like a young team finding some joy in the game again. I'm not sure that there is a run in the Timberwolves, especially with Robert Covington and Derrick Rose out injured, but for a night things looked better and this team is just 2 games out of the playoffs. That was not the biggest news out of this game. Oklahoma City's Nerlens Noel took an unintentional elbow to the face from Wiggins, then had a nasty fall and had to be stretchered off the court. We don't know much. Noel was held overnight at the hospital for evaluation. Our thoughts are with him and the Thunder. 2. Good night for the Warriors. Klay Thompson drops 43 in a win. DeMarcus Cousins' target return date set. While we continue to watch a disinterested Warriors team coast through the regular season, there are nights we're reminded how much talent this team has and why most expect them to just flip the switch sometime after the All-Star game and dominate again. Tuesday night it was Klay Thompson's turn. He dropped 43 on the Knicks on 18 of 29 shooting, including 7 of 16 from 3. Klay Thompson is back. In his last 5 games he's shooting 55.1% overall and 51.3% from 3. The other bit of good news for the Warriors, the target dates for DeMarcus Cousins' return has been set, on the road in Los Angeles either January 18th Clippers, or Jan. 21 Lakers. The Warriors have been lacking at the 5 spot all season. They missed JaVale McGee far more than they thought they would, and they hope that Cousins can fill that need. If not, look for them to target Robin Lopez or other centers expected to be available on the buyout market. 3. Nikola Jokic drains game winner for Nuggets in Miami. Floater is kind of my game. I love that shot just because I cannot dunk. That was how Nikola Jokic described his game winner in Miami Tuesday. It was a simple pick and roll with Jamal Murray. Jokic rolled, got the ball in the lane, and showed off his floater skills. The Nuggets' defense has not been great of late, although it was better in Miami Tuesday, but an elite offense has kept the Nuggets on top of the West. Plus it helps to have shots like that from Jokic, who should be an all-star reserve this season. Head injuries are always scary in professional sports, and they are less common in the NBA than they are in, say, professional football. Still, the NBA is a full-contact sport and so from time to time things get physical. As the Oklahoma City Thunder took on the Minnesota Timberwolves on Tuesday night, OKC big man Nerlens Noel suffered a blow to the head by Andrew Wiggins that appeared to knock Noel out. The blow came as Noel was contesting Wiggins at the rim, and so Noel fell to the ground while barely bracing his fall. The result was scary, and Noel had to be stretchered off the floor. Warning, the video below might be upsetting to some viewers. There's no update on Noel as of publication, but hopefully he's doing okay and no doubt doctors are looking after him with the best possible medical care available. Nikola Jokic is the future for the Denver Nuggets. He's a franchise cornerstone, and not only one of the best big men in the NBA, but one of the best players, full stop. That's why it was no surprise when Jokic took the final shot for the Nuggets as they took on the Miami Heat on Tuesday night. What was surprising was the way in which Jokic won the game. With time winding down and the score tied 99-99, Jokic took the ball on a pick-and-roll play and threw up a wild, high-arching shot. It touched nothing but net as it came straight through the basket to give Denver a 2-point lead. Via Twitter, the Heat turned the ball over on their next possession, and Jamal Murray sealed the game with 2 free throws, 103-99.